All right, I think we are live for a second week in a row, Greg. This is a new record for our
Second week.
stream for a while anyway. Um, I guess
Yeah, I mean we need to start trying to have these streams consistent again if we want people to ever log on and watch them. They need some sort of consistency.
yeah, no, that's true. I think we talked a little about this in the last stream. I feel it's just been a strange year for a lot of reasons. I don't I wouldn't say I feel tremendously motivated to do anything. um, but I do feel it helps just to talk about some of the stuff, and talking about it on a more regular basis may also kind of motivate me to be more engaged. Um, and I guess sort of related to that, um, even just today, Greg, we posted a new post on the blog where we have sort of some updates for that old Marauder Chaos Dwarf warband that I had been working on earlier in the year. Well, in kind of a neat sort of twist of fate, one of those Chaos Dwarves has now been painted, and in this case, it was painted by Colty from famed Colty on Instagram and such, from who used to be part of Iron Sleet and everything, who is probably the most recognizable old hammer miniature painter on the interwebs. Um,
Yeah, I feel he a few years ago kind of took on a project to try to collect as many old hammer miniatures and not only collect a lot of them, try to complete sets of their different releases and then paint all of them with
mhm,
his excellent painting style.
yeah, and so yeah, I'm really excited to show the little model. Um, he if you're following him on Instagram, he posted pictures of the model like a week or two ago, calling the little dwarf Pinky. um, but he has kind of a wonderful color scheme of like a very almost like a pastel red or pink color, which I feel is it's an interesting scheme that I think honestly works really well, and it kind of plays off some of the kind of the weird vibe of a lot of the Chaos Dwarf models over the years. I sort of feel like some of these Marauder Chaos Dwarves, they're interesting in that their proportions are all out of whack and kind of crazy. Like they have huge feet, like normal, but the
Look at his
majority of them,
beard. He has a huge beard underneath that sword.
yeah.
So, but then where's his body and his legs? Like there's a lot of feet.
If you look at the
And this,
back of the model, they kind of have the body sculpted and stuff, so it's maybe a little better than you might be expecting. But I think one thing that's interesting about the Marauder, like Chaos Dwarves, for the most part, all of them have kind of traditional Chaos Warrior esque helmets. So you don't really see their faces, which I kind of like. And this is also very reminiscent to some of the like Forge World Chaos Dwarves they used to sell for a while and no longer do. They had more of a brutalist look to them, and they kind of just look like Chaos Warriors. So the all of the Marauder Chaos Dwarves kind of look like that, which I honestly quite love.
yeah, I wish the new Chaos Dwarf models looked more like the Forge World ones.
Yeah, so that like this was maybe a little serendipitous. Like we I received this model in the mail with having it being painted, and then a few days later, and I guess this Warhammer previews or whatever for the summer, they came out and released lots of pictures of essentially a new Chaos Dwarf Age of Sigmar line. And I don't even remember what they're called. They're called
The
something different.
Hammer or something of the Hellsmiths of Halmuth or
Yeah.
something
Well,
Hellsmith.
yeah. So in the post where we show pictures, some nice pictures of the model Colty painted, we talk a little bit about some of our opinions of the new models, and I sort of feel like we may as well discuss some of that here. I feel in general the models look okay, but they are very much Age of Sigmar models, and they
If you look
suffer
at
from a lot of the
the
problems.
the ones with the shields and the swords,
Hmm.
they look a lot like the Aussie Archbone Reapers.
Yeah, I
Just with
that was one of the
bigger.
first things I thought. Like you look at these, it's like, wow, look at those shields. They have this weird segmented pattern, which is pretty common in a lot of Age of Sigmar models. Certainly the Bone Reaper models, their shields kind of look like that. And then a lot of the models also have these big gems that these do as well. You look at a lot of the ranges, kind of all their weapons look the same. Their swords, shields, spears. Like so
I
looking
admittedly kind of like these warriors with the shields and swords. Like, they look pretty good. I mean, their feet are huge, but like their hands are not. Like, it looks like they have bodies
Yeah,
and
so
legs.
yeah. I think in
And their
general,
swords, kind of big, aren't so big. Like, they
yeah.
look like they're strong enough that they could handle that.
To me, you can tell they certainly put in a lot of effort to give them a more believable like body shape and everything. Like, yeah, their hands are much smaller, their heads are smaller. I think in general, all of that works relatively well. But then the thing that I kind of find is strange, they then still maintain the huge feet, which I feel kind of is at odds with the rest of the redesign. And it's like they look pretty serious and mean, and then they have these big comical feet, which I guess there was no hope that
All
there
back
could
to
be
the old
anything
Chaos
different.
Warrior models.
Yeah, but those old Chaos models, they had kind of an air of whimsy and comicalness to them. Like these models don't have that, but they do have the big feet, so they still kind of do look comical. So I don't really love that. And then I feel of all the Chaos Dwarf renditions of firearms, these probably have to be the worst. Like these blunderbusses or whatever. Like, my god, are they bad? They're bigger than ever, and you can tell the sculptors don't, like, they almost don't even know how to deal with it either. Because you have this huge cannon they're holding, and then they just sort of paste on a tiny like pistol grip that they can hold to shoot the weapon, but it doesn't
It
really
looks
look.
like an urn from Diablo 2 or something that you would break.
Yeah, and like,
They're holding sideways.
yeah, since they decided to sculpt their hands smaller and more believable, they had to make a much smaller like grip to shoot the weapon, but that doesn't really fit with the rest of the weapon. And then they need another way to hold the side of the weapon, but it's too big for them to like just support it underneath with their hand. So they added like another grip to the side. And like, there's literally no way that they'd be shooting and aiming this. It would just be so awkward. So like it's just there. It's a bad design, and it doesn't really, to me, look distinctly Warhammer or distinctly like Dwarven or anything. This just looks like what you would see in World of Warcraft or something. And I feel a lot of the stuff in Age of Sigmar kind of has that big bombastic World of Warcraft feel, which wasn't quite there in the past. So I sort of feel the design language is just kind of not there. And then we mentioned the notion that a lot of the visual language with the weapons and shields and stuff kind of all looks the same in Age of Sigmar.
Yeah.
So they don't really have a unique visual identity. So they're kind of forgettable, I would say. And then let me see if I can find more of the previews. They show pictures of more of the Chaos Dwarf stuff. And one of the things that really stood out to me was one of the books. I don't know if this is one of the books, yeah, Hellsmiths of Hashut. I don't know if this is like the standard cover or like the cover to like a special printing of it, but they have a picture of this big like
It's not even a dwarf. It's not one of the dwarves.
yeah, it's like this big bull centaur construct or something. Like if I saw that cover, like I wouldn't even know that that's for Chaos Dwarves or something. It's so indistinct and like not like I would more or less think it looks more like a Skaven model or something. So to me, that really speaks of kind of a failure in the visual language. If I see the cover of one of their books and I can't even tell that,
Oh yeah, you don't even know necessarily that that's Chaos Dwarves. Like I don't know that's
yeah,
dwarves.
you just couldn't tell. So I feel
Yeah.
that is kind of a huge fail. I guess this is the
Yeah, it looks
Dominator
kind of
engine.
like it looks kind of like a Space Marine
Yeah, that
with a bow.
too. Yes. Yeah, so it's just a complete, to me, a complete failure in the visual language
What
of
does
the
it say
new
this thing
army.
is? Like there's pictures of the model, big bull thing. One of them has two cannon arms.
The
What is it
Dominator
called?
engine.
Okay, so it's like a dreadnought.
Pretty much. And again, this thing also still, if you look at it, to me looks more like a Skaven thing. It even uses like the green flames and stuff, maybe because it has like warp energy or so. I don't know. And then you could say that's the same thing, that green like warp energy or whatever is also what you'd see with a lot of the night haunt like floating skeleton range too. So like the shit all just kind of looks the same. And in the past Warhammer, it didn't all look the same. This shit does.
Yeah.
So all of that I feel is kind of a huge fail. Um they then have, I don't even know, is this like a Demon Smith character model? This model's maybe a little better. They have this weird stone book or something. They look okay, though I still even feel like he has the tall pointy hat, or the tall hat that like some of the old Chaos Dwarves had, but it's shaped in a way that it looks like the little, like more like an Egyptian hat that you would see on like the Tomb King models and stuff. It doesn't really look like a Chaos Dwarf hat. And then the shape of the gem on the hat is also similar to what you would see on the new Nagash model and the other like Tomb King models. So like to me again, it's just the visual language is so intermingled and like buttered together that I sort of feel it's hard to like see this as anything but kind of a failure. And then
Yeah.
finally they do show there's another character model who I don't, maybe it's an Ashen Elder. Oh, I think the other one was a Demon Smith or something. This Ashen Elder. This I feel is a Chaos Dwarf. They don't have a hat. They have like a scarred face, a hammer, and this like staff. I feel they look pretty good. Um, you can tell they're a dwarf. You can tell they're more chaotic and stuff. And their pose looks okay. So I feel they look pretty good. So then if you
Probably
look at
doesn't have knees.
yeah, that's true, but like it's a dwarf, most of them don't. Um, but his staff that he's holding looks just like the staffs of all the other armies. Same with his armored gauntlet. His armored gauntlets look just like the Stormcast armored gauntlets, just like the like of literally the entire range.
Yeah, I don't like his hammer very much.
No, his hammer
Seems
looks
like they were
horrible.
trying to make like a revolver or something or other.
That hammer looks very much like World of Warcraft or like League of Legends arcane bullshit. So it's like come up with your own shit, Games Workshop. um,
Oh, it
yeah.
looks like Witchhammer Studios. Johnny, you're here. Thanks for being here.
Oh
I
yeah,
haven't
hey
been.
Johnny. So we were just talking. Yeah, we were talking. I don't know how much you heard, but we were sort of talking about how the visual language of this new Chaos Dwarf army is all messed up. Like most of the models, a lot of the visual elements and such don't really look any different than most of the other Age of Sigmar ranges. And yeah, if you look at what maybe is the cover to their army book, you see this bull-like construct that could be a Space Marine Dreadnought. It could be a Skaven War Engine. It could be a
Well, I
Bone
think
Reaper
it's wild.
construct.
It's wild that the cover of the book has a thing that isn't a dwarf, like that you can't tell. Like I don't think that's a chaos dwarf. I mean, it's part of the army list, I guess, but just
Wait, it
seeing
says
that.
here, wait, the Battle Tome features a stunning cover exclusive to this set. Okay, so I think this is the cover that's exclusive to like the boxed game because down further they have another cover that is a much better cover that has just a dwarf.
I mean,
So,
admittedly, that special edition cover, like it's a good picture. It's not bad.
but
Just
you
seems weird
you
where
probably wouldn't be able to tell looking at it what it was for. It's just so
okay.
indistinct. And then even the flames and stuff, they're kind of like a green color, like you see with Skaven, or you see with the Night Haunts, or like all the other shit. So it's you just wouldn't know. Oh wait, we haven't. Why not? You Yeah, when I saw the hammer, I deadass thought that that was something a shaman would use in World of Warcraft. Yeah, all the shit looks like World of Warcraft. And
Yeah.
because, yeah, well, Greg, you and I talked a little bit earlier, like, you look at this, I guess this is maybe a demon smith or something. They kind of have the big, all, like, smokestack hats that some of the Chaos Dwarves had, but in this case, they managed to shape it such that it looks more like Nagash's like pointy hat, like big hat, or the hat that you'd see on some of the other Ossiarch Bone Reaper models. So it's like they they bumbled it again. Like you can't you can hardly tell this is a Chaos Dwarf. I mean, he does have the beard, but in some regards, the beard's a little more reserved now. So they decided they were gonna try and lessen the big beards the dwarves have to the point, though, but they've done it so much that you almost don't even see it. And then I guess they have all these like bull centaur models that they're fine. I they don't they don't look bad, but they're not. I wouldn't necessarily say they look too cool. They have an additional version where they're not wearing as much armor and stuff, and you can see some of their muscles. Like I feel they look maybe a little better, but I I don't really love them. Um, but I guess they're fine. And then we talked a little bit about their their firearms. This is probably the worst rendition of their firearms we've ever seen for the Chaos Dwarves, and they very much look like World of Warcraft cannons. Um, don't like them. The little hobgoblins, or do they call them They call them hobgrots. They look okay.
I think
Um,
they're fine. Yeah, yeah, I think they're pretty good.
yeah, I feel they're fine. They're probably some of the better models. Like their shields are relatively small. Their weapons are fine. Pretty small
I
for a
mean, in
GW thing.
general, like, I'm pleased they decided to bring back the Chaos Dwarves. The models, for the most part, seem to be fairly well sculpted, though I don't know that
Yeah, I
they're not
mean,
super easy.
it's nice they're bringing them back. Like I was hoping they would eventually, but I guess most of the models, like me looking at them, they're a lot more ho hum than I was hoping for. And on top of that, it's a shame a lot of it, like you could look at some of the models and not necessarily even realize they're Chaos Dwarves, or that's who they're for, which again, a little sad. And yeah, this like what is it called? The Dominator engine again kind of looks like a Skaven or construct. I guess it kind of has the hooves and stuff, and it kind of has the centaur-like head, which is supposed to be doing a lot of the heavy lifting for you to realize it's for the dwarves and such. But I don't, I don't feel they quite got there. What are these? Are these? Oh yeah, and then well, we talked the standard infantry. Their shields look just like the Ossiarch Bone Reaper shields. And then if you look at the spears they're holding, you can't tell me those don't look like the Stormcast spears or like all the other spears in the whole Age of Sigmar range. They look the same. And so it sort of baffles me they couldn't come up with a distinct and unique looking design that you could recognize. It's just, I mean, you could make an argument that, oh, it's just beer, so like they're gonna look kind of the same, but I don't really feel like that was quite true with a
I
lot of
kind of
other
like
ranges.
the swords on these models, but the spears look like swords just on a longer pole.
Yeah, they're not great.
The spear isn't wonderful.
But I mean, these swords, they remind me of like the swords in Warhammer 40,000, the Adeptus Mechanicus, like the Skitarii type models. They have the flattened, like executioner type swords and such. I do like how some of the models, the infantry models, they don't have armor and you can see like their muscled bodies and arms, and that like is kind of nice to see they put in some thought as to how their anatomy and stuff would work. Though I do feel like in most cases when they then go and add the armor and stuff on top of them, doesn't quite work as well. And you can't necessarily see, it's difficult to picture all of their skin and muscles underneath it, which is kind of a shame.
Well, so Johnny puts the point that they don't look too much like chaos,
They
and
do
that
not.
is an interesting thought. That like, yeah, I I guess I don't know the lore of the Chaos Dwarves. Presumably, they have some relationship to the ruinous powers, or is that not even true? Because if they do have a relationship with the ruinous powers, they look pretty clean and well kept, and not.
They have the tusk like teeth and stuff. Who knows?
That's
This is
just
Age of Sigmar. This is probably different. The little like leader dude, the leader dwarf, he's kind of okay. I sort of feel like the addition of all these gems to the Chaos Dwarf seems very different than what I was expecting. All of these like gems, that just looks like what you'd see on the Ossiarch Bone Reapers or the Stormcast and other stuff. Like I feel they could have left all of them out, and it
maybe
again
it's
would
a big
help.
part of their lore. Could be a big
Yeah,
part of their lore.
maybe they're like soul stones, like the Eldar or some shit. Who knows? They're fine. Just a little weird. No, actually, I didn't really look very much at most of the summer previews, but there's, I guess, a Tyranid Hunter Leagues of Voltan model. They look okay. I don't know why they're standing on this stupid tactical rock, but they love that.
Yeah, what's happening there? Is he a Tyranid hunter?
I assume it's. I think he's a special character. Yeah, he looks fine. The Leagues of Voltan are kind of, they're pretty weird. They're, oh, this little guy, this little strategist guy with the little droid head is kind of fun, I guess. Oh, I saw some people talking about this. They have these Ironkin Steel Jacks, they're called. Really weird. So they have proportions that are much thinner and taller than a lot of the other stuff in the army that is very much at odds with the rest of it. Um,
That is weird.
yeah, they're kind of interesting. And we've talked about this before. I think in general, just the League of Voltan or whatever they're called, all of their weapon designs are like ho hum and horrible. Like they're just classic sci-fi boxes. Like they didn't really have any ideas when designing them, and they really suffer for it. Like I feel most of like the older Warhammer 40,000 weapon designs are sort of iconic, and they're very
Wait, so the
recognizable.
steel jacks, are we to imagine that there's a dwarf or a Legion of Oton in there? It's like, if so, it's like
I don't
dwarves
know.
always wish that they could have more human-like standard anatomy, so they made a suit for them to get in, and it's called the steel jack.
I don't know. They're pretty weird. Oh my gosh, and they have another floating vehicle that looks, I don't know, just really so many of their Games Workshop designs, they really come across as like either World of Warcraft inspired or inspired off of, what was the game called? There was another miniature based game with the War Jacks and stuff. Privateer
War
Press.
Machine
Yeah,
looks
War
like War
Machine. The shit looks like War Machine.
War Machine stuff with like StarCraft 2 imagery.
Yeah, it seems like how could they have reached a point where their visual language looks more like something else? Like so much of the stuff for Games Workshop was always it inspired other things.
But now StarCraft 2 is inspiring with like
Yeah.
Warhammer inspired StarCraft, and hell, it probably also inspired Warcraft, but now
Mm-hmm.
StarCraft and World of Warcraft have started to inspire Games Workshop's IPs. I mean, heck, the Legion of Photons, like armored suit dudes, like look similar to the Space Marines in StarCraft,
Mm-hmm.
or keep
Yeah,
in mind,
stuff's
certainly.
rough. I don't like it. Um, let's see what else. Oh, actually, shit. Let's. So they had some previews for the old world, like Tomb Kings. Yeah, see, like this is like very immediately. It's immediately recognizable, like they're Tomb Kings. They don't show too much.
Yeah, they look like Tomb Kings.
And nothing really to see there.
I think from those pictures, they look pretty good.
Yeah.
What's Dawn of the Storm Dragon?
Was that in that same post?
Yeah, it was a book picture
Oh,
at the
I
bottom.
assume that. So they a while ago they released models for a new army of like Cathay or
Cafe.
whatever, the
Yeah.
humans that some of them can turn into like dragons and stuff. Like they actually released
Mm.
models in a war list for that they been talked about for a long time. So that's kind of neat. They finally did that. They now have they previewed a bunch of new Space Marine special characters that look okay. There's one of Vulcan who's fine. They've made like maybe the fifth version of Lysander. Like there are so many versions
But
of
they
this
made his
model.
weapons a little bit more World of Warcrafty.
Yeah, it looks bad.
Like the pose is about the same. Like it's all very similar to the original one, but I feel it has taken each of the elements and made them a little bit more elaborate and showy. Like I certainly don't like that better than the original one. Like the original one, or maybe it's not I
Yeah.
don't know how many instances there have been.
I don't think this is an
There's old
improvement.
metal one that I liked.
The only thing that I'll say with this one, they have a version where you can have the snub nosed Terminator helmet that looks kinda neat.
Yeah, I like that.
But the pose is bad. Not great. They have a Raven Guard dude. Like, he looks okay, but like, why is he on this dead tree? But he
That's
does have
scary.
these like little mechanical. What even are those? I don't know, but they're kind of fun.
Yeah, he's kind of
Built
cool.
around bird skull. So these are little bird. They're okay. He's okay. I
This one
wish.
helmet is weird looking.
Yeah, I kind of just wish it was the normal model, not hanging on to something. But Games
Yeah,
Workshop, they can't help themselves. They literally can't help themselves.
yeah.
Um. Also, here the Iron Hands model. He is the closest in just like a standard I'm standing here pose, but he's still standing on tactical rocks. It's like, why did they do that? To make it harder for you to. I assume it's a separate piece, so like maybe you can. I don't know. Doesn't look great. Okay, and we have a White Scars model on a dumb looking jet bike. I guess what you could say about this jet bike is it's a little smaller in size than maybe you would expect. So I guess that's good.
Yeah. I mean, I think he looks pretty good. Um,
Yeah.
mean, I wouldn't want it, of course. But like
No.
the handle to his glaive isn't super thick. Like it doesn't look like it's as thick as the spears to the Hell Smiths of whatever. So pretty
Yeah.
good. I mean, I don't love that jetbike design. I don't love the Punisher Gatling cannon on the front, or it looks like
Yeah,
the
it's
same
stupid
stuff.
looking. The glaive he's holding looks very similar to one of the glaives seen like 20 years ago with the one Slanesh Chaos.
Slanesh, that Slanesh or cavalry commander thing on the
Yeah,
yeah, it
it
does
looks
look
like exactly the same. Well, not exactly, but it's very
like
similar.
it looks like what I remember that glaive to look like, but I
Because it even
haven't
has the
thought of it
blade
for a while. The little back thing
at the back.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So these Space Marine characters, they're fine.
yeah.
Though I would struggle to see anyone being too excited for them, but they're fine.
Mhm. Yeah.
Okay, Horus Heresy, they have Assault Marines. What do these look like? They're fine. Their poses are honestly better than I would have guessed them to be. Look at the stupid chain axes they have. Like they're literally bigger than the they're like almost as big, if not bigger, than the model themselves.
Yeah, they're really big.
Um,
They're really big.
yeah, they're
All really
weird.
big.
I would like we didn't really talk much about this because we haven't streamed for a while, but I would be interested in eventually looking at the Saturnine like armor because they have plastic versions of that, and like I would like to say overall they look pretty good, but they still kind of have the World of Warcraft look to them. Um, Again, though, you could argue that the original older models kind of look like that too. So I feel like there's something I would like to actually see the models in person.
Mm.
Um, all their weapons or their gun weapons look awful, but this is Games Workshop,
For
so
some reason, they remind me of the old toys, the Z-Bots. And maybe a
fucking
Z-Bot doesn't
lots.
look anything like that, but
Yeah,
for some reason, I am reminded of those. He also looks like he could do a forward roll, like turn into a ball,
like
like
Seamus or
Samus
whatever from
style.
Metroid.
Yeah, Samus style. Yeah.
Damn it, yeah, that would be cool. So they're overall okay. Um,
Um, Adam, perhaps we should call this stream to a close soon, or like I
yeah,
probably should go to bed.
no, that's fair. We've been talking for a while. Um,
Going back to our old standby of complaining about GW releases.
Good to be back. Yeah.
Yeah.
um, well, I guess, yeah, thanks everybody for joining us and listening to us ramble on for a while. We're trying to make more of an effort to start streaming more regularly again, so hopefully we'll be back again next week to who knows what we're going to talk about, but I'm sure there will be something.
I guess as the last thing, like R.I.P. Ozzy Osbourne. So he
Yeah,
just
no,
passed
that's a shame. And he was, I think, only 76.
76, 77, something like that. I mean, it
Yeah.
was only a few weeks after
Last
his final
show.
performance with Black
Yeah.
Sabbath. Um, so death of a legend, like he helped start heavy metal. So
Mm-hmm.
well,
Yeah.
gotta go listen to Masters of Reality.
Yeah, all right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. We will hopefully talk to you again soon. Keep on enjoying the hobby. Stay safe. Stay healthy. Until next time, over and out.